Right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Got a whole bunch of good crypto news stuff for you today. The first thing I want to talk about, $16 million worth of Bitcoin missing as an exchange quits business. So honestly, nothing new in the crypto world, but still news nonetheless. So BitMarket announced on Monday that it ran out of liquidity on July 8th, which prompted them to cease their operations for an indefinite period and just kind of go away. The exchange also said it would update users with more updates. Data provided by CoinMarketCap updated 17 hours ago showed volumes as close to $850,000. Compared to other exchanges, the statistics appeared weaker, validating that BitMarket was in a liquidity crisis. Fair enough. Nevertheless, the exchange left no clues about how it would go ahead with fund withdrawals. Scared users shared their grievances on social media platforms, with one of them noting a string of red flags. He said that they were acting shady before making its announcement. The exchange already asked users to change their passwords without providing any explanation. It later revised the users' API profiles in a separate instance. BitMarket also halted the withdrawals of process for many, demanding additional KYC. But they say that KYC was long overdue, and it was for only targeting people with expired IDs. So, wait, additional KYC, I suppose, is just like updating your ID, but I mean, that's already kind of KYC to begin with, but still, whatever. BitMarket currently holds approximately 1,300 Bitcoin units in its wallet, which is equivalent to 16 million. Users under the stress of losing their hard-earned money have already formed a Facebook group, and they're planning to file a class action lawsuit against BitMarket founders and other top executives. So another day in the crypto world, so we'll have to see what happens with all that in the future. So BitMarket, if you happen to have Bitcoin on there, which I suppose you probably likely didn't because it's really not a lot of Bitcoin, sorry for that, but hopefully you get that back. So moving on here, PayPal is effed. BitMEX CEO says Facebook Libra will make banks dumb nodes, and I actually kind of like his explanation of that. So Facebook's Libra payment protocol could make central and commercial banks irrelevant, but PayPal has no future anyway. The CEO of derivatives giant BitMEX, Arthur Hayes, made the comments in an interview with the Taiwanese news. Speaking during this year's Asia Blockchain Summit, Hayes made grim forecasts for both banks and fiat-based payments. Libra, which saw its white paper released last month, has yet to launch, has drawn both praise and criticism from across the international economy. For Hayes, participants who should be most worried about banks themselves, even if the Libra is a centralized platform which can freeze out specific transactions and users, banks will still face major upheaval. All a bank is relegated to is a dumb node that holds fiat currency in electronic form at a central bank. Pretty good, really. I mean, you could consider that banks today are basically, if they're hardly different than a cryptocurrency, aside from that they're, well, not crypto and they're just digital cash, but yeah, they're basically like centralized nodes. It really makes sense. But yeah, PayPal is probably going to be losing a lot of business. They seem to really not want to deal with crypto, and I find that pretty. I find that pretty outrageous that they would do that. I feel like that's a poor marketing decision, that they could easily just, get some regulation going, get some clarity, and say, okay, we can accept at least these certain cryptos that we know for sure are not securities or something like that, and we will process those payments as well. I don't know why you would even need them, because you can send crypto directly to somebody, but for businesses and such like that, I suppose it's a great idea, but they just really refuse to do that. So yeah, I don't think they're going to be doing so hot over the next years. We'll have to see. So moving on, Goldman Sachs seeks executive to lead unprecedented digital asset projects. So we had JP Morgan, now we have Facebook and other institutions getting into it. Goldman Sachs is making essentially listing a job opportunity for somebody clearly for digital asset projects for crypto. So the executive level position will be responsible for developing comprehensive roadmaps for distributed ledger technology that will play an integral role in helping define both the scope and the direction of the business. The listing comes on the heels of Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon announcing last month his bank could absolutely follow JP Morgan Chase in launching a cryptocurrency. The news was first reported by The Block. Solomon said at the time, The bank was extensively researching the crypto space. He made specific references to stablecoins and asset tokenization as the direction in which the payment system will go. So again, even the banks are getting in on it now. That's when you know you're kind of in a bull run. I mean, the banks are actually starting to move towards at least the big investment banks, like the big ones, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs so far, and now you have Facebook making it. So we're entering a totally different age, and especially once 2020 comes around, I think a lot of this stuff we'll start to see fruition. So I think the whole decade of 2020 to 2030 is really going to be an institutionalization and a corporatization of crypto. They're all going to take on this role, and again, like as Andreas Antonopoulos and even myself said for a long time now, it's going to be a corporate crypto. There's going to be, well, as Andreas said, like Coca-Cola bucks and Goldman Sachs bucks and this, that, and the other thing. And as I say, there's going to be Samsung coin. There's going to be these, Nike coin and everything else in between that is just essentially a digital token. Or essentially a digital coupon that could have already existed that you don't need crypto for. But with these ledgers and banks, they can essentially move the crypto immediately, and then it's forever on the ledger saying, yes, we moved this crypto, we moved these tokens, and we value these tokens based on our bank and our value at, $1 million that we just moved. And so therefore, it's more like a digital IOU than actually moving money immediately. Because for the banks, yes, these are worth $1 million that they just got moved into their bank. But for the people, I mean, they're entirely useless and they're not going to be in your hands. So it's just essentially, oh, yes, we got your money faster, so we can give it out now as long as we have that actual money in our bank. So again, a little bit faster, but still just sort of digital IOUs in the way I see it. But moving on here, to the moon, I like this article a lot, is where this Bitcoin mining rig went. Ken Sheriff is a man of passion, and the passion lies in restoration of vintage computer hardware. For his latest project, Sheriff got a hold of a guidance computer from the Apollo space missions. Then it got it working again, the only working example, according to him. This computer was small enough to install the actual Apollo craft in an era when most computers ranged in size from large refrigerators to an entire room. So this computer was small enough to fit inside the Apollo craft. Of course, once you have such a machine up and running, you got to give it something to do. After all, it's not it's not as though there are many lunar landings to guide these days. But what function to give? Trying to mine Bitcoin on this 1960s computer seemed pointless and anachronistic, but had to give it a shot, he says. And so for all of you watching, let me just mute that. But this is it. I guess this is the Apollo guidance computer or something. And he's actually trying to hash Bitcoin with the SHA-256. So as you imagine, it was far from the fastest mining machine out there. It took 5.15 seconds for one SHA-256 hash, and as Bitcoin uses a double hash, gives it a rate of just about 0.01 hashes per second. Incredible. At this rate, Sheriff calculates that it would take about 1 billion times the age of the universe to mine a block. Well, at least it'll be worth like a quintillion space bucks by then, right? I mean, about 1 billion times the age of the universe. I mean, there's not going to be much Bitcoin left. What? There's going to be like 20 in existence. I mean, that's got to be worth, at least 16 quintons. So, however, it isn't the slowest Bitcoin mining method he has attempted. Previous projects include mining using an old punch card computer system, and even mining a block by hand. Because, yes, you can actually mine a block by hand, but you'll never do it fast enough to actually submit it. But it's physically possible. For comparison, punch card experiment was able to compute a Bitcoin hash in 80 seconds, and the rate using pencil and paper was 0.67 hashes per day, so not even a hash per day. Clearly, none of this will make Sheriff a Bitcoin millionaire, but his dedication to preserving computing technology of the past should be clearly applauded. And I do. This is actually great. Punch card computer system. So 0.67 hashes per day. You would essentially have to, like, in a couple of days, just get lucky and, like, get the exact one, although you'd never be able to submit it in time. Like, you'd have to put it back in a computer, I suppose, once you have it on. But, yeah, you could essentially submit that, but that'd take you, pretty much an indefinite time period. I mean, probably a galactic, sized black hole would dissipate before then, which is a long time. So 330 $328 billion market cap. Oh, we can see what happens when you refresh coin market cap. Things change pretty quickly. 11,956 Bitcoin. So we've had a pretty wicked sundering of Bitcoin. We were at nearly 13,000. Maybe in some exchanges it was, but a lot of the exchanges I was looking at, 12,900 and some odd, and we've seen a dump across the board, and this is the dumpening. So honestly, a great time to start preparing yourself to rebuy in if you're a trader. There's a lot of indicators that will kind of start to give you signs, but you never know. But it does seem to be kind of forming a hook on everything that's going down. So maybe this is sort of the resistance level. Maybe everybody's power selling off because they got scared with Bitcoin reaching 13,000 again. And of course, it's going to dump again once it reaches its high. It usually does that 2 or 3 times. Like I said, if Bitcoin gets to 14,000, it's going to dump. If it gets to 14,000 again, probably going to dump again. And then it'll go over, that type of deal. It's always something along those lines. But that's all I have for you guys today. Make sure you subscribe, like the videos, and share the videos as well. That helps me out a lot. Social media in the description below. Give me a follow on those if you get the opportunity. But I hope you enjoyed it. And as usual, I will see you guys next time.